Hello,
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Wealth Wednesday.
Absolutely. We're so glad y'all are here.
It's been a week. How
It
did that
has.
happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
Whatever. Crazy week. But we are so excited to have you here with us. Couple of things. A shout out to all of you out there. We love those thumbs up, those hearts flowing across the thing. So let us know any additional thoughts you have, the stuff that we talk about today. Today we're actually talking to millennials. Now, if you're not a millennial, stay tuned. You have got to listen too, because
you know a millennial.
You probably know one.
We all know millennials.
And some things of what they're thinking and going through, especially as it pertains to money and debt. Big one, debt. And we're just excited to share with you. Wealth Wednesday is all about having wealth with your money and wealth with your relationships. So that's what we're all about today, wouldn't you say?
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
You're
A frog through.
All right. I just coughed too.
Okay, all right.
I think mine was a chunk of almond.
Okay, that's right. Or wasabi peas.
Yeah, I'm into
Who
wasabi.
eats wasabi peas?
I'm into wasabi peas.
He
They're
does.
amazing because you only have to eat like 8 and you feel like you've eaten like a salad and a steak.
And they've cleaned out your whole...
Right, and they opened my sinuses up. So it's perfect.
That's awesome. Okay.
If you don't know what wasabi peas are, go buy some. They're amazing.
There we go. Okay, so a shout out also, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have been doing a lot on social about breast cancer awareness. There are some videos out there, a video of myself and the journey that I went on. So it's out there on our socials, so be sure to look that up. Also, I came across a video from Cole and Cade when they were like 4 and 5. 3
4 and 6, right?
4 and 6.
First
3
grade
and
and
5.
preschool.
Yeah.
So,
it is so adorable.
So fun.
So it is out there. You have got to check it out. Click, like it, and we'll go from there. So we're excited today to talk to millennials, and if you're not a millennial, you know one. So listen up. All right, we're talking today about 3 ways. So it's Millennials and Debt. That's kind of our main focus this month, is to talk about debt in lots of different ways. It affects relationships in such a massive way. And so really 3 ways to have the future that you want. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Great.
All right. So first, we thought that it would be great to kind of talk a little bit and set the stage about what millennials are going through oftentimes in your mind when it comes to money. And we've done a little bit of research. I mean, we're not millennials, obviously. Kind of glad I'm not one.
We're a little old to be millennials.
We are.
I feel like a millennial sometimes, though.
I know, yeah, because we're so young.
Mm-hmm.
Feel young, that's for sure. Lots of energy. But, you know, it's good, I think, for all of us to just kind of get in our brain kind of what some of the things are that are going through their brains and minds, through your minds, now as it comes to debt. So you want to read some of the stuff that we found?
And one of the things I think is true for millennials, too, that we didn't deal with is that most millennials have acquired a massive amount of student debt.
Yeah.
Because college is just so much more expensive.
Yes.
So here's kind of the millennial, our thought about, let's just call them Carl and Carly.
Okay.
They aren't rich.
Carl and Carly?
Carl and Carly.
I like that. Carl
Yeah.
and Carly.
I've never met
Are
a
you out
Carly,
there?
but if you're out there, give me a thumbs up because there's got to be one or two.
Okay.
Carl and Carly, they're millennials. This is what they look like. They aren't rich, but they aren't poor.
That's right.
They both struggle with student loan debt because
That's
your
right.
college is so crazy expensive as compared to mine.
Holy smokes.
1 year of your college was like the equivalent to 4 years of our college.
Okay, so I went to Westmont College. It's a college in California. It was outrageously expensive at $13,000 a year.
How much
that
is
was
it now?
room and board. I want to
42,
say,
40,
I want to
4?
say it's 50, somewhere around 50.
I mean-
for 1 year.
I mean, so
these millennials, for you guys,
Yeah.
we feel for you because that is such an incredible heavy burden to carry.
crazy
Yeah.
heavy burden.
Yep.
Both Carly and Carl struggle with loan debt.
Yep.
They're dating. They're thinking of a real commitment. They have enough money for basic needs, but very little understanding of how financial management works because you weren't taught it.
Okay, interesting. So my sophomore in high school, they just added a required course for sophomores, which I think is so great. Personal financial management. Awesome. Okay, just did it. So that means that all the millennials, you didn't have for the most part,
Right.
a lot of money management.
Right.
All right.
Let's see. Very little understanding of how the financial management works. They are millennials and therefore They are distrustful and uncertain with the ideas of money and wealth.
I like distrustful and uncertain.
Right. And the reason is they have seen money negatively impact their parents' relationship, and they fear the same could come from them.
Okay, so again, very fearful oftentimes about money and money management because they saw their parents fighting about money all the time. So that makes them very kind of weary about money inside of a relationship, which makes total sense because they saw all the challenges that their parents went through.
Right. So let me keep going here. What are Carl and Carly's sorts of pain? Early tension over money, we get it.
Yep.
Lack of experience in their relationship, feeling misunderstood or even refusing to talk about money, and a fear of money and a heavy student loan debt burden. That's what's the sources of pain. What's keeping them up at night? Being alone, student debt is huge. A fear of incompatibility over finances, negative nagging parents, social pressure, looming big expenses like marriage. So they're even thinking about the finances about their marriage before they're even married. That's what's stressing him out. Big expenses like marriage, children, and buying a home.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what some of the things that you as millennials have been handed. Global warming, national debt, terrorism. Didn't even know what terrorism was.
We didn't have that when I was your age.
Boomers not leaving the workforce. Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy.
So usually before, the older people would be leaving, the younger people would be coming in. We're not seeing that. People are living so much longer. Social pressures with social media, keeping up, and we want to be an encouragement to you.
Yeah.
Because you can work through all of the issues with money, but oftentimes we have to just kind of set aside some of the negative things that we're hearing in the news, and we have to say, you know what, I got to do the best that I can based on the information that I have.
And I think for you millennials too, because you guys are so information driven. You're so into your phones and you're so into the instantaneous, what's happening in this part of the world. I mean,
and multitasking.
Yeah, and you are amazing multitask. Some of the highest educated people as far as what you know. But all that negative stuff coming your way is killing you. Turn off your CNN pop-ups. Turn off your MSNBC pop-ups. Turn off your Fox pop-ups. And just kind of leave all that negativity behind you so you can really focus on what your passion is.
Yes.
It's interesting about, let's
Oh, do you want to do 3 ways? Yes,
yeah.
We have 3 points that we want to share with you today. These are 3 ways to really have the future that you envision, that you would like to have, that maybe your parents didn't have, but that you would like to have. So we're going to go over those. You want to start
with the first one? Yeah, let me start with the first one because this one rocked me. Yeah. I had no idea this was true. But the first thing we're going to tell you is for those who are watching that have student loans because you've made it through college, be grateful for those student loans.
That's right.
Because you made it through school. You've got a higher degree of education. Be proud of yourself. Now this was interesting. I'm going to read this because I'll never quote it right. Student loans represent, Okay, a Pew Research, it's right here, from the Pew Research Center. Okay?
Is that Pew as in P-U?
P-E-W.
Oh, Pew as in
Pew Research
Pew,
developed.
okay.
This is what they said.
Okay.
That was kind of weird,
there.
babe. This is what they said.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it just kind of threw me off there.
Right,
anyways.
Trying to be serious?
This is intense here.
Okay.
78% of college-educated women who married for the first time between 2006 and 2010 could expect their marriages to last at least 20 years. 78%. And trust me, if you can make
college
it 20,
educated.
If you're going to make it 20, you're going to make it the whole way. Right. But among women who have a high school education or less, it was only 40%.
So 78% of college educated women's marriages were lasting longer than women who were not college educated.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
I don't I've tried to read through this thing, but it was some other statistics that I pulled out of this.
Even the title of it. Look, the link between a college education and a lasting marriage. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So that's what we say. Be thankful for your education.
And the numbers are crazy. So this is talking about the probability of your first marriage will last at least 20 years. It's 52% of all women. So when they did the average, it was 52%. 78% of women with a bachelor degree. 49% with some college. And like Beth said, only 40% with high school or less. So that, even though it's a weird correlation and we don't totally understand why, the reality is you've got a better chance to have a long-term relationship if you've got that college degree.
So be thankful for it.
Number one, let's be grateful for those
That's right.
student loans. All right, you take number two.
Okay, all right, number two. Don't move in together before you're married.
Right.
We have an article that has just absolutely gone off the charts in terms of our analytics and things like that. It's on Your Tango. So just go in the experts, Scott and Bethany Palmer, and you'll see the article. 3 reasons not to be homeowners before marriage. Wow, lots and lots of people are wondering about that because, a lot of these millennials have seen divorce and they're like, well, we just want to do a trial run and see if this whole living together thing will work.
But then you make the mistake of buying a home on top of that.
I know, it's just so crazy. So some of the things that, we've seen in terms of research, and as a matter of fact, even in this research here, it says, probability that marriage will survive at least 20 years jumps by over 10% if you don't cohabitate first.
So you're adding another 10% of probability onto your long-term relationship by not living together.
Now,
first.
Here's the thing. When you are married, you are making a 100% commitment to that person. And a lot of people are like, well, it's just a piece of paper. Well, it's a lot more than that because you are laying your life, especially the husbands, laying their life down for you as a woman, and it's that 100% commitment. You have that little bit of out when you're not married. And so what happens is that debt that you would get into maybe together if you aren't living together is even more stressful because you're like, we're not really getting through this together, and it just makes it that much worse if you live together before. Make sure that you do not buy a house together if you are not married. This is so important. Just a couple quick tips about that. No marriage contract means no home contract. Even though you're not legally married, because you do live in a house together and because you make the mortgage together, you could be deemed as owning that house together from a legal marriage perspective.
Well,
there's a lot of ins and outs about it. I don't want to get into all the details.
Totally jack up your credit score
And
too.
your
If if you break up and one person defaults, you just killed your credit.
Because then you will be married. If you buy a house together, you are more likely to be married to each other's credit. And let's just be frank, the breakup's probably going to happen because you're not 100% committed to each other. It makes that breakup that much harder when you buy a house together. And you buy a house together, then you have a lot of debt together. And it's just ouch, ouch, ouch. So we just can't tell you enough. Don't buy a house together. Don't get in that kind of debt, especially if you are not married.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So number one, be grateful for those student loans. Number two, don't move in together before you're married. And definitely don't buy a house together before you're married.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Bad
and number
idea.
three, avoid fighting about money. Really start talking about money. If you can learn as a millennial, and you can learn while you're dating and you're in relationships and you're kind of trying to find that person that you're going to be with, start talking about money. If you find yourselves bickering about money while you're dating, say, hey, why would we ever fight about money? Because if this relationship goes deeper, I don't want that to be the focus of our relationship. How can we talk about money? Your relationship, remember, Beth and I talk about this all the time, 70% of all marriages end because of money. If you can nip this in the bud as a millennial and understand how to talk about money and not fight about money, you are going to have an amazing relationship. And it's going to last a lot longer than 20 years.
That's right. See how compatible you are when it comes to money. Know and understand your differences. Be sure to understand and know what your two money personalities are. That's an awesome place to start. If a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to talk about my debt. Well, I'll tell you what, if you've been dating for over like 8 months, and
I'd say 6 months.
6 months, and you see that it's going down a pretty good track, and you're like, hey, I might want to marry this person. If they're afraid to talk about money, run for the hills, right?
Yeah.
Run for
If they're going to hide money from
That's
you
right.
while you're dating or while you're getting really serious, it's
Oh.
going to be 100 times worse
Oh.
when you're married.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. People think, oh, well, if we just don't talk about it, then it's just not going to be an issue. That's not true. Money impacts you just about every single day. I just went to the gas station and I decided to get mid-grade level of gas, not the cheapest. There was a money decision there. I'm deciding now if I'm going to eat the lunch that's in my refrigerator or if I'm just going to head out for a little bit. That might be a little bit more expensive. Money decision. Money decisions every day, so you cannot run away from them. And if you are not compatible when it comes to money and how you think about money, it could be a nightmare.
Yep.
It could be an absolute
Absolutely.
nightmare. So millennials, we want to make sure that we don't have, your kids don't experience what you experienced with your parents arguing about money and arguing about how much debt you should have or not have. You know, how much debt you should have and not have, there's a lot of financial parts to that decision. Make sure you're on the same wavelength about it. Super, super important.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say?
Yep. Hey,
Okay.
thanks for being here. It was
Yep.
an awesome Wealth Wednesday. Our
Yep.
goal is to make your relationships wealthier and make you financially wealthier with these Wealth Wednesdays. You
right.
millennials, you stay strong, you
Yep.
stay
We
focused.
love you.
The
You're
world
great.
is not as bad as everybody is telling you.
No.
And you have a very bright future. Stop worrying about the student loan. Stop worrying about all this stuff. Just get to work.
That's right.
Hey,
All right.
thanks again. And as we always say,
Make it happen.